Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Sakshi, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter Middle East and First View Group to the first day of CNI Energy Show Middle East 2022 conference. I hope you all had a great time networking with your peers today. I take the pleasure to thank our partner, Clenergy, for extending their immense support to organize this event. As we all are aware across the globe, the rally cry for climate change and energy volatility is surging. And in this scenario, the only way of operating is by adopting sustainable energy management. Commercial and industrial solar PV users consume a significant amount of energy in the Middle East markets, and the residential sector accounts for 41% of the total power demand, followed by the industrial and commercial sectors at 21% and 20 respectively. The remaining 18% represents other sectors such as agriculture and transport. To combat these concerns for a secure energy future in the Middle East region, we bring to you the CNI Energy Show Middle East. This 2 day virtual event will provide a holistic view of the role of sustainability in the CNI segment, guided by industry experts, and will have discussions on the latest technology, trends, and opportunities, and the way forward to achieve the country's ambitious 2030 goal of 35% renewable energy penetration in the power generation mix. I would now request my team to play the promotional video for Cleanergy. Thank you, team, for that. Now, without any further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Samir Jacob, Global Marketing Manager for Cleanergy, to give his presentation. Welcome to screen, Mr. Jacob.
Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, Solar Quarter and First View for having us here today. Massive pleasure to be able to have a chat with your audience. Um, Let me just get my screen organized here. Okay, looks like that's all organized. Let me know if you can see my full screen. Yep. Can you see it there?
Yeah, it's visible,
Good.
sir.
Awesome. I'll get started. Alrighty. My name is Samir Jacob, Global Marketing Manager with Clenergy, coming to you live from Melbourne, Australia. So thank you all for having us here today. Let me take you through a little bit of a presentation of our brand and what we're looking to do in the GCC market currently and for 2023. With Clenergy, our core mission is basically to be that enabler for governments, the public sector, and enterprises. So, regardless of whatever products we create, whether it's solar mounting gear, uh, cable management, battery systems, tomorrow, even let's say inverters, everything we design is all to help various entities to reach their carbon neutrality goals. Various all entities, whether governments or public sector or the commercial sector, everyone's got their targets for carbon neutrality for 2050, 2040, and we wish to be the enabler in that mission. In terms of some of the key markers for the brand, this year we actually celebrate our 15-year anniversary. We were founded in Melbourne back in 2007, publicly listed, manufacturing facilities across Australia, China, and Indonesia. About 15 gigawatts worldwide. We are the number one solar mounting supplier here in Australia, top five in China. And globally, we manufacture and distribute our solar racking products. And tomorrow, and basically today, venturing out into even energy storage products. In terms of our footprint globally, we've got about five offices there, predominantly within Asia Pacific, Australia, and one there in Germany. But we have a large network of distributors across Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. And all of this can only be done by some of the mavericks within our business. Very large team here in Melbourne, backed by our manufacturing teams out of China, and a fairly large R&D team there based out of Japan. In terms of our key product lines, we've got PV Easy Rack, which is our solar mounting gears. And then we also have a runner, which is our cable tray systems. I'll take you through two of these main lines because this is predominantly, I guess, more relevant to the C&I space. So in terms of our PV Easy Rack range, this is some of the sub brands that we have. So we have Solar Roof, which is really for roof mount, Solar Terrace, which is for our ground mount series, Easy Tracker. The name pretty much gives it away of what it does, and also Clenergy Hollywood, which is our premium black finish racking gear to match all the black panels out there. And this is purely for the roofing structures. We also do carports and post mounts, and I'll take you through a couple of imagery regarding these sub brands. So, in terms of roof mount, whether it's tin or metal roofs, tile roofs, flat roofs, we've got solutions for that whole lot. When it comes to tin roofs, there, especially within the C&I space, whether it's flat at a tilt angle, penetrative or non-penetrative, we've got options there for you. Let me just give you a bit of an example
So
here.
the process of setting up for the installation here at Lexus, we were able to engage the tech team from Clenergy to ensure that exactly what we were putting on the roof met with the standards of all of our Clenergy gear. The decision for what mounting system we were going to use here at Lexus was a really easy one. We stuck with our tried and true Clenergy PV Easy Rack flush mount for this particular roof installation. We were also super excited to use Clenergy's brand new to the industry runner gear for our cable management. We chose the runner gear for the longevity of the cable management. The runner gear is a MAC product which will sustain itself throughout the lifetime of the solar system.
Cool. Just double check, Sakshi, you were able to hear that? Just in case I've got the
Yes, it
audio.
was on. Yes,
It
it
was
was
on?
on.
Okay, very good. Cool. Now, as we know, when it comes to roofs that are very low pitch or flat, for a solar mounting company, having options to look after that and bringing panels up to the right pitch is really important. We've got a variety of options there for you, whether on the far left, whether you want looking for adjustable tilts where the installation company wants a bit more versatility on a specific angle that you're after. Or we've got something like tripods, which is in the center, which is a pre-assembled kit at fixed angle points. And then we also have our new commercial tilt, or COMT 2.0, which comes also in fixed measurements of 5, 10, 15 degrees. We do also, for the CNI space, have options for concrete roofs, which is basically a ballast system. This particular brand is called Ascent, part of our PV Easy Rack range. You can find that more details on our website regarding this one. When it comes to non-penetrative roofs, one of the main things is obviously the different types of clamps and what kind of profiles of roof sheeting material that it can fit to. There is such a wide variety of clamps that we have that I can't show them all here today. We've got a massive catalog on our website which has every single clamp, but this is just a few examples there for you. Just to give you one example, the one in the middle, which is our universal clip lock clamp. And this particular clip lock, I think, can affix itself to almost 15 to 17 different type of metal roof profiles. So that's a couple of other options there for you. And yeah, cool. Another thing I want to mention to you very quickly, and I'll show you another video. I'll play this for you first. And looks like the audio is not working. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Apologies.
So we first came to site in February of 2020. The construction or the main structure was already up and the roof was on. Our main goal was to scope the job and understand how we're going to install from there. There were some specific guidelines that we had to adhere to. The first one was analysing the risk of the pitches of the roof. The second one was maximising the system size with the space we had on the roof.
And the project was started on the 27th of January. During that week, we started with a few guys on site and ramped up between 2 to 6 guys. And it took about 3.5 weeks from start to finish for the installation of the solar system.
It's a clip lock roof, so we've got clip lock clamps on there. So we chose Clenergy for the mounting system on this one. We had to actually engineer the system specifically for this roof. We're up a bit higher here, and through Morwell we do get some extreme winds and some weather. So we got that engineered and we've actually shortened the clip lock spacing substantially, which increases the structural integrity of the panels while they're on the roof.
The point that I wanted to make with this particular video that we just played is that if you look at panels, inverters, batteries, that whole sector of products is pretty much everything's from the electrical engineering perspective. When you look at solar mounting gear, we're talking structural, civil engineering. And so what we have to consider are elements like wind regions, what is the terrain category, and these elements and of that particular area tell us in terms of the clip lock spacings that's required for whatever specific type of roof and how high it is and what the wind region is. So these are things that the elements that we take into consideration when we are providing a system there for you. The next one here is Clenergy Hollywood, which is basically our full black range of solar mounting gear, pretty much for the residential sector, as it's a premium product. Just want to show this here in case that's of interest to anyone out there. Yes, we do have also ground mount gear, whether you're looking for single post, double post, something fairly more engineered, depending on the terrain that you have. I won't go too much into this, only because this is more a CNI space. We do also have options for trackers. So whether you're looking for a single panel in portrait, double panels, dual panel in portrait, or and also a last one on the far right, which is D2B Pro, which is dual panel with even extra AI algorithms to help versus weather conditions and stabilize your tracker system. So we've got a wide variety of ground mount systems there for you as well. Also in the CNI space that we're seeing a fair amount within at least our markets, whether it's Australia over across Asia Pacific, is carport systems. So we're seeing a lot of shopping malls, large institutional buildings taking on uh, 200 or 300 car parking spaces for putting solar carports. So, for example, on the far left, we have our Easy Shade 2.0 that comes in silver and in black. It comes in single bay and double bay. So, depending on how many bays you needed, you could just literally buy and double up on parking bays and sit them side by side, and then scale that up to whatever number of bays that you're looking for. Um, the one in the middle, which is Easy Shade Razor, which is a single post, that's a more of an engineered product. So this is where you and your engineers are working with our team to figure out um, uh, 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 how many spaces you're after, and then we can design that bespoke for your project. And we also have post mounts, which is a single panel up to 10 panels, whether it's regular size or now the even larger size panels. That's also available to you, part of our portfolio. In terms of trackers, I've got another video here, but I'll just play it, but I might just actually skip it because I'm just conscious of time. In terms of global installations, we're a company that's pretty much global across Germany, the United States, large airports across Australia, whether it's government buildings or some of the highest rooftops around the world. We've pretty much covered every single scenario. And from a weather conditions perspective, we've pretty much installed across Australia pretty much has Australia as a country pretty much has some of the most extreme weather conditions, right from heavy snow loads to desert storms to very low temperatures, very high temperatures. So pretty much got all that covered. In terms of our cable management solutions, our Runner brand, one thing I want to mention here very quickly is that this particular solution has a matte finish, which is a magnesium zinc alloy, and what that does is it basically is another protective layer across the cable tray solution there. Sorry, I think there's someone who is on not on mute at the moment, which we can hear some background noise. So if I can ask any of the other panelists to put themselves on mute, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, that's right. So in terms of cable trays, you can see this is a pretty self-explanatory product. A lot of you probably already know about this. Just letting you know that it comes in 150 millimeters and 300 millimeters, and basically have all the accessories that you need for all kind of basic commercial installations. The additional thing from a solar perspective, the lids that we have that you see down here as an example. We additionally have for the solar industry lids that have the words solar DC warning pre-stamped onto the actual cover, so that your installation company does not need to put labels or spray paint to identify to the workers on that roof that this is a live system. Typically, that's what most installation companies do. They have a label or a spray paint function. Here we've already embossed it onto the actual trays. Cool. So that's in terms of our product lines. Clenergy as a company, we give a lot of importance to the environment and also our corporate social responsibility. For the last 10 years, last 12 years, we've been donating to the It's Time Foundation, which has basically done ground mount systems across the Pacific Islands on very remote islands for basically for schools. And this year actually marks our 25th school that we've provided a ground mount system to. Also, we give a lot back to various universities, and we do champion the electrification of transportation, as we are also getting into the battery space. So, for example, with Monash University in Melbourne, we fund their Formula EV program. In terms of our online presence, we do a lot of podcasts and panel discussions on our own channels with various stakeholders across the various regions that we are currently in the market of, staying in touch with exactly what's happening in the market. So I'd invite you to have a look at those channels there. In terms of our difference, we provide a lot of training to all of our clients, not and only and also to their clients. Heaps of collaborations with other manufacturer brands, as you can see there with Enphase and other inverter and panel manufacturers. In terms of if you're looking for our products locally, I would invite you to go to clenergy.com, go onto our little menu and click on the distributor button. And then on the filters, click on Middle East, and you'll get our Power and Sun solar trading equipments and their details. They're based out of Dubai. And we are obviously looking for new partners across the region. So if there's anyone out there that's looking to distribute solar mounting gear, do drop us a line. We do also have our newsletter that goes out monthly. So do subscribe. And lastly, in terms of how to get in touch with us, email address is simple, sales@clenergy.com. We're all across social channels. And one thing is, if you're in the installation group or an installer or engineer or designer and have a question about any of our products, we have a Facebook learning group where you can just join, take a couple of photographs of a roof, throw it on there, and within minutes you'll have someone respond to you. Cool. That's it from myself. Again, Samir Jacob with Clenergy. Really appreciate your time. And then I'll leave you now to the panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insightful presentation, Mr. Jacob. I would like to make a small announcement here. The attendees can post their questions in the Q&A box, and our panelists will answer those questions at the end of the panel discussion. Now, allow me to introduce the lead panel lineup we have for today. Mr. Lalit Basha from Elite Energy, Mr. Mohammad Abu Hilal from Synergy, Mr. Walid Saleh from the World Solutions and Services, and of course, Mr. Jacob from Clenergy. The session will be led by Mr. Basha. And now I welcome all our panelists on the screen and hand it over to Mr. Basha. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Firmani, and thank you, Samir, for the presentation. I will start talking about the C&I projects as we are now in Middle East, especially in let's say Jordan, Palestine. Also, we are looking now to the development and the improvement on the regulation in Saudi, UAE, Oman, Kuwait. So the issue now that C&I market is increasing, the products as well. We're seeing now many photovoltaics products, new players in the market, as well as inverters from we know before, like SMA, Kako, Coastal. Now we are talking about Sungrow, Huawei, and many other players such as Godwe and for example Growat are also available in the market. So the issue now, we would like to talk with the panelists about some challenges and how we can develop, and what's the role of government to support and attract the C&I market in order to be well organized or to find opportunities in some country to support the installation of the CIN project. And mainly we're talking about rooftop. We can see in many countries such as Jordan, they have many installation types. It could be rooftop if there is availability at the roof, and it could be as well wheeling. Wheeling means if you don't have a certain area above your rooftop or around your facility, so you can rent or buy a land away from the city and to connect directly with the grid with some service charges on that. So firstly, I would like to talk with the panelist, Mr. Muhammad, and I would like to talk with you about your opinion of the most suitable business model for commercial and industrial project in Middle East region, and to specify mainly the contractual wise, what do you see that the best case scenario, or what's your recommendation for EPC contracting or BOT, which is a kind of equipment, or project leasing? And if there is any subsidies that you find that it will be better to support the customers to initiate and to install their project. Firstly, I would like to have your opinion and to get introduction about yourself, please.
This is for me, right? I just want to confirm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate the introduction, Laith. And my name is Mohammed Abu Hilal. I'm the CEO of Suns Energy Group. Currently, we have a global operation throughout the continents, and we are focusing primarily on encouraging and promoting all type of clean energy solution, particularly to solar applications, and whatever technology that comes, we try to develop, nurture, and work with what we have at the current time, and try to build better solutions using the solar energy, throughout the globe to improve the environment and to improve the world current crisis. And as we know, in the climate now, we heard a lot of bad things, how things are going, that we are not using the clean energy sources so far. It's been really a disaster in the whole world. In all cases, I'm very grateful for inviting me to this, and hopefully we can discuss in the coming day and tomorrow as well what can be done and how we can improve this education and real implementation of the C&I and the solar energy and the clean energy in general, for every home, for every factory, for every hospital, for every university. This is where the real application truly comes. Initially, when solar energy concept started, it was more toward the utility scale projects, and everybody was trying to jump in the wagon for the grid connection and how it can fit the scenarios of the power company in each country, trying to capture on the benefit of solar energy to dump into the grid and then redistribute this power directly to the end customer. With the CNI market, you going directly to where you need the power, directly where you can utilize it, which really save a lot of losses in the production of energy that can, in the normal situation, I don't know, this is global numbers that everybody might know, 65 of the produced power, it's going to waste globally. So when you are particularly going toward the microgrid, more toward the location on site itself, as in the CNI market, you're really, saving 100% of the power that is needed for that particular entity. And then if there is excess of power, you can store it in batteries and reuse it at need. In all cases, so the challenges was now moving toward the hybrid solution. This is where the first challenge. Now we are, let's say, working with the inverter manufacturers, with the solar panels, with all the technology providers to care for this market, to cater for this market. And this is the real market. This is where the real energy can be utilized immediately. Challenges, of course, in every new technology or every, let's say, consumer technology that is not yet publicly known to everybody, there is a lot of things that is can affect the rollout of these type of solutions to the masses. Now, speaking of providers, now like our partner or our colleague mentioned, and I'm very impressed with the Clean Energy, by the way, presentation. It's really nice, and you can see the quality of their work very, very evident on the videos that they shown. And this is really impressive what they have done so far. And we'd love to partner with them, of course, in the coming days and future, of course. So challenges, yes. Main challenge, of course, as it's globally now on, is the cost. costing of the system to the consumer, and how we can make it readily available for them. This is where you need to work on the financing part. It's not only what you provide in terms of technology, in terms of material, it's also in terms of ability of customer to pay for these services, which at the end it's resolute, or it's electricity coming to the home. What is the real costing for the customer? It can be done through several ways now, with many investors coming on board, especially in the Middle East region. It's a really good market. And actually everywhere it's a good market now for the solar energy. But in particular, since we are based in the Middle East as when we started, and now we're growing toward Africa, Europe, and America, there is a need always to be able to, let's say, finance this to the end consumer, make it more readily, the availability of this costing in terms of rebate, like it's happening in Australia now. They provide rebate. Europe or in the US also, they do provide this rebates and from the government to the end customers. Also, the Gulf region, or let's say the Middle East region in general, there is a lot of investors who are willing to finance these type of solutions for the sizable projects above, let's say, 200 kilowatt. The challenge is now to finance these projects to the masses, to the homes. Let's say every home can have a solution, every let's say school, every factory. This is where we have little bit of the challenge now, how we can convince the investors, the bank, the different entities that can provide this type of finances to customer, to be encouraged and bringing this as a service and as a supply to provide electricity for them at the lowest cost possible. And I'm not sure if in the videos I saw in one of the part of the video, they showed in the parking lot, there is like electrical charger. This could be a very unique concept to adapt, where you have now as electrical cars are on the hype. Everybody wants to get electrical car there, where they don't need to spend any fuel, which is very encouraging also to encourage this. But we should also prepare ourselves as an infrastructure to utilize the solar energy in parking lots everywhere it can be possible, to recharge these cars or charge these cars at any location you are driving to. So there are many things that are challenging, and there are also the good thing that solutions are coming. Creativity of providing these solutions are now more and more increasing. I don't want to elaborate too much on this because I want to be specific to your question. I don't want to go too much in details, but we can also go a little bit further on any specific issue that you like to address during this
Yeah.
questions and answer session.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Well said. And I will add to your comments and input that in many countries now you have some difficulties to get approvals from the distribution companies. So one nice solution that you mentioned is to introduce the EV chargers. So you can have this capacity, you can relocate or allocate solar energy in battery storage and to use it for example, for EVs. This is one good solution. And as we are talking now about the storage systems and some other technologies that we can use, I'd like to talk with Mr. Walid, as we know that he has experience in communications, and they support the communication companies with the PV solution. So, Mr. Walid, I hope firstly that you are well, and I'd like to get your opinion and introduction about yourself firstly, and how you support or how you introduce solar energy in communication. What's the difficulties? What's the challenges? And if there is any subsidies or any attraction to go and to use for remote area, basically to use solar energy instead of electricity or diesel generators, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys, and thank you for organizing this event. I'm pleased to be. This is my first time to attend the Solar Quarter C&I event. Uh, World Solution and Services, it is an IT specialized company in the telecommunication field. So we are a bit different than, or a bit different from the others, from our background. But as you have mentioned, when it comes to telecommunication, there are also some challenges because these companies consume a lot of power, and being part of the big community, they have their sustainability programs from one side, and the second side, their their cost reduction efforts. So our turn, and my turn personally, is to help these companies audit their power consumption before thinking of how to provide them the needed power. And beyond the audit, then we go and propose the adequate solutions. And throughout the years, we were able to provide them in different solutions. And as you mentioned, right, in rural area, it is not really adequate to provide a diesel generator that is running 24/7. And in many cases, especially in the Gulf region where we have sandstorm, where we encounter some diesel thefts, the availability is not there. From a security perspective, any telecom operator must be and provide the coverage 24/7. For that, the solution was to look for an independent solution sized precisely to their need, and that were the off-grid. Unlike C&I, most of the C&I we see its direct connectivity. In terms of telecommunication, it is not. It must be with a battery bank. And definitely the challenge was started with the previous PV modules with lower capacity, lower efficiency. The battery bank that were needed were in 2-volt lead acid. And with the evolution, this has been improved. Lithium batteries replaced the VRLA's ones, and recently more attention is going toward the hybrid solution. Now, thinking of challenges, we don't really have permitting challenges. And most of the telecom sites, they have enough space to install there, whether it's sorry, in rural or whether the cities. But the main problem will be always shadowing. Shadowing is always the major factor that hits any solar solution in a telecom site, because most of the towers and masts are quite high, and in many cases we fail to provide the solar solution because of this. From rooftop perspective, definitely there is no enough space to do it, which is part of our discussion today. Now we've been, and we are still looking on the other side of the industry on. We have thousands of locations across the nation. If we look in Saudi, we have more than 20,000 or 30,000 towers. In UAE, we have more than 15,000 locations. So yes, if we succeed to install solar panel each and everywhere, even with a small capacity, that will be still a good involvement of the tower company or the communication companies to reduce carbon emission. But what we are facing right now is a relatively cheap energy price in the Gulf states, whether in all the countries. So whenever we build the case, the companies are not really attracted to invest this amount of money from OPEX reduction perspective. Now, definitely, sustainability perspective, it will help, but unless there is a government campaign to force these companies to go full scale solar solution, I think it will be limited to their rural area and off-grid sites only. I hope I have answered your question, Laith.
Thank you. Actually, I want to ask you also, guys, about the regulatory changes and how financial inducement or support are required in our region. How we can attract rooftop energy for C&I clients locally and from foreign investment. I think Mr. Muhammad answered
Laith,
hit
if
the
you allow me
point.
here to interfere,
Yeah,
I'm
please,
I'm
please.
Lib- I'm Lebanese, right?
Good.
And yes, I am based in Dubai. We do most of our work in Dubai, but nowadays the booming market is Lebanon and Syria, out of question.
Right.
These two countries
Right.
got no power at all. So from residential, commercial, industrial, there is no power, and everyone stands to install power. Now, what challenges I face? I'm somehow involved in the Lebanese market. What we are facing over there is no regulatory at all.
Yeah.
So when it comes to commercial, if you want to install your PV panels, the others will not allow you. If you install your panels, someone will steal them.
Wow.
This is the reality. We're talking about facts happening every day in Lebanon. And two more challenges. There is no qualified teams installing the solar systems, and there is no one looking for the quality of the material. Have you ever seen a 1,000-watt peak PV module?
Yeah.
We
No.
can sell you in Lebanon.
Very nice. So you are the leader with the capacity now.
Well, they are faking so many things. It's unfortunate. You cannot really know if what you're buying is genuine or not. They are masters, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, as you said, I'm following also Lebanon and Syria market. Most of Jordanian distributors are now exporting to Syria and Lebanon. Some from outside, some from other countries, but the quality is the problem now. You need to have regulation, testing, or to check out the new material at the place. I know the situation there, so everybody wants to get his cheapest system to get electricity, but till when? Who will fix it? This is the way. I agree with you.
It is a massive problem, and I believe coaching people is not much easy where the traditions are still dominating over there. The
Yeah.
blind trust in someone doing a solution, which is not correct. I have seen many issues with a system that doesn't have adequate lighting in a country that have a massive winter season. They don't have not adequate. There is no earthing system at all, and from structural perspective, it's extremely low. So we are still expecting in the winter time to listen to funny and uncertain stories coming from Lebanon about PV panels flying, about entire system moving from one building to other building. This is the situation, and it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the main issue. We need to have at least an entity that can follow everything. So this is we know the situation, and we hope in like soon it will be regulated, and it will go through like a normal process like Saudi, Jordan, Dubai. You know.
Yeah, we hope so. Now you ask one more question, Luis, and sorry if I'm not sorry if I'm taking someone else time, but from financing perspective, this is also one of the things that I believe can improve the market. In Lebanon, people are financing these solutions, and with the economic crisis, their spendings are quite limited to what their expats relatives are sending them to the country.
Yeah.
Definitely, if with such limited budget, they tend to buy the best for almost nothing, and they end up paying for not adequate material. So the role of investing, I think, in that part is really a key factor to improve the quality of the installation and to increase that installations. Now I can see if this trend continue in Lebanon, I think in few more months it will become per capita maybe the first renewable country in the world, because we don't have any other source of energy. So definitely investing is really required. And I think, as Mr. Muhammad mentioned, there are so many investors, but perhaps the main challenge, there is no guarantees for the investors in Lebanon.
Yeah. Okay, but what do you think? Maybe we can ask Mr. Muhammad, how do you see that the foreign or the international funding that can help to support the regulatory and the installation issues of C&I for C&I market, or to be done through a foreign investment totally? What do you see? Mr. Muhammad, you are muted. Muhammad with us?
I'm not sure, but let's look again.
Yeah, please. So we can continue.
Sure. Look, in UAE, Saudi, or Gulf generally, the juridical part is excellent. Everything goes quick. But in countries where you have an economical crisis, where you have banks have declared kind of bankruptcy, where you cannot import export foreign currency, then definitely the foreign investment, it won't be that easy. Maybe we can see more NGOs supporting the countries, and this is happening. But in terms of investors just investing in microgrids or mini grids to generate certain money, I don't think it's feasible without a proper government support and a proper law to protect those investors.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Walid. And we have now some questions, and we'd like to have a look. Firstly, how frequently, from Mr. Roy, how frequently battery storage is integrated with C&I solar project? I think your question about when we use battery storage with C&I project. So, and might I can talk about a little about it. So in C&I project, we are talking mainly, if we are talking about some commercial buildings with big rooftop, it could be used for some demand side management. It could be used for like load shedding if it's requested by the government or by the distributor, and we can use the storage at some other time during the day. Also, we can use storage if the regulatory said we cannot now at a certain time of the day we cannot feed in at a limit, so we can use a certain relay to export like a certain limit, then the other will be used or will be stored and used later during the day. In some countries, by the way, there are what we call it energy trading. So I can install my solar system and sell to my neighbor. It's not really in the Middle East, but this can be also a solution to have my big solar system to install or to restore it or to recharge batteries, and the rest will be transferred to my neighbor or somebody who's connected with me. And if you like to add something, Mr. Walid or Muhammad, please.
No, nothing from my side. I believe you have well replied here.
Yeah, thank you. And
Sorry, if you like to answer the question of how frequently battery storage is integrated with CNI solar projects, this is the question, right?
yes, please.
Okay. The frequently of using battery, now it's becoming more frequent. Like I mentioned earlier, if you remember in my presentation, that now we're going to the core user and we're trying to utilize the solar system. Just to give a quick idea, PV solar works primarily on average of 4 to 5.5 or 6 hours maximum. This is in the normal peak situation or the best scenario. So, in the balance of the day, which is another, let's say, 18 hours, uh, you will need also to have power. So this is where the battery normally comes in handy, that you can charge the batteries during the daytime and reuse them during the night hours. This is one of the applications that is primarily used in the CIL market or any other market. So, in particular, to the to the, let's say, frequently or the frequency of utilizing them, it depends on the budget set by the customer or by the entity, how much they want to spend on their system or how many hour of powers that they require as for their, let's say, application. They're using this power for cooling, for lighting, for security cameras, whatever application you need to maintain the power level of 24 hours availability of the power there. So the battery storage is the way to utilize the solar energy into the nighttime and into the peak hour that it would be required when you need it during the day. So this is in the CNI market. We are talking about let's say commercial, industrial, or let's say residential as well. Uh, it's nowadays it's becoming more frequent due to the regulation in some countries that you cannot connect to the grid, or there is so much complication connecting to the grid, or the process is too long. So most customers or most entities, they look toward the alternative solution of going with batteries.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Thank you very much. And we have another question, which is what is the growth rate of C&I solar in the last 6 months? So if anybody had have this record or can talk about that,
Numbers
please.
numbers are not, maybe I don't have it, but I can answer if you allow me. There
Yeah,
is a like substantial growth in this market in the past 6 months, to tell you the truth.
yeah,
I don't have the quantification of it because each country has different, let's say, dependency on this type of solution. So where countries like, let's say, Lebanon, it increased maybe 200% or 300%. Let's say, for
Even
example,
even 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 more for Lebanon.
yeah.
yeah,
100%.
So this question, I don't. It has to be more of a regionalized, or let's say country, or even smaller than a country. Like for example, in the UAE, Dubai is different than Sharjah, different than Abu Dhabi. So the growth in the market cannot be measured in that manner. Any number can be given will not be accurate in a way, because
yeah,
there will be different way of how you want to estimate the growth in regards to region or regards to countries. Thank you.
yeah. And I can add here also that each country also, or the percentage depends on the country regulation and the facilitation, and if there is any open application that you can apply and get directly, or there is some restriction or approvals restriction, that's it. So it depends on the market. But I read about US market, by the way. US market growth between 2021 till 2022 at commercial side is about 6%, as an example. Okay, and we have time for last question. Okay. What is the cost benefit to C&I consumers on using solar product in Dubai? So please, Mr. Muhammad, I think you are based in Dubai both, right? Or Mr.
Yes,
Walid
I'm in
only?
Dubai.
Yeah, I'm based
No,
in
I'm based
Dubai.
in Dubai.
The cost
Okay,
Well,
benefit
please.
of
I can answer for the telecom market. Uh, there is no real cost benefit for them. It's more into when we're talking about on-grid connectivity. In that, there is no real benefit. It's more into sustainability and their participation, their commitment for the carbon reduction and for the net zero campaign that's been announced by the government. When it comes to the off-grid solution from telecom perspective, it's massive because you're turning off a generator running 24/7 to just a few panels. So in those, their ROI will be limited to and will not exceed 2.5 to 3 years for a system that will last for 7 years.
If you allow me, Walid, and please don't take it in a way in the wrong manner. I
Sure.
respect what you have said, but I tend to disagree. There is a very high cost benefit to everyone in the solar products. At the end, let's say for telecom market, for example, they are paying for electricity anyway, whether they are paying from their uh, monthly bill to the electricity company, or they're paying from their profit, or they're paying from. There is a cost for buying electricity on for these towers or for whatever power they need in the telecom operational side of the sites. I can give you a very good example, which Walid already actually mentioned it. Many of the telecom sites, let's say in Africa, they are using generators 24 hours or some battery sites.
Mr. Muhammad, to be
Yeah,
to be
I know
to
you
buy.
mentioned generators
No, no,
already.
no.
I mentioned.
The question is for Dubai, not
Yeah,
for
I
the
know.
region.
I saw that. I saw that. Believe me, I saw that.
In
I
Dubai,
saw that.
just and because again, this is let's say our core area. In Dubai, you can see so many towers distributed between villas and communities, and the available space are too low to install enough power to generate adequate power that return good amount of money. This is one. And the second problem is always shadowing. When you are installing on top of a factory or on an open roof, then you don't have many obstacles or in many shadowing. In case of a telecom tower, the tower itself, in most of the day, is the shadowing. So in many cases, they pay a lot of money to return a little. And in Dubai, with the DY rates, the energy is relatively cheap. So
The energy in Dubai, just to give you, you know the rate already. The cost in
yes, I
Dubai.
know. So I'm just
mm,
specifying Dubai or UAE generally. If you want to go to Africa, it's a totally different
Even,
approach. I totally
even if you
agree.
go to
Walid,
Middle East,
Walid,
by
I
the way.
just want to mention this because I said this in a way. There is some always different views for the same thing. I can see it from one side, you can see it from another side.
I think
There is no problem on this.
we're running out of time here, and
Just
I would like
one last thing about the benefit. One last thing about
Okay,
the benefit.
last benefit, please.
Yeah, last benefit, because in reality, solar energy basically as a fuel, you're using the solar sun coming. So there is no way you can go with any type of loss. You will definitely benefit no matter how you turn it around.
Yeah. Maybe it depends on the location at the end and the way of installation. Anyway, Mrs. Fermani, last question, or might I can answer it directly?
yeah,
What is the
sure.
price of batteries and what are the brands nowadays? The main or the new market will be lithium ion battery. There are many suppliers from mostly from the east, and for my record, 1 megawatt hour is about $400. I don't know, Mr. Walid, might be you agree on that?
Not from
300,
one, could be
under
one
300.
kilowatt, not 1 megawatt. 1 kilowatt hour could be for $400.
Yeah. 1 kilowatt hour is around
Yes.
$400 to $500, by the way.
Well, I would say
Agree?
300 is also fair, but lithium is going up and down, and then The
Yeah.
currency fluctuation with China is also one factor. But here, one thing it's worth looking at and keeping it in mind. In lithium batteries, we have three different type of lithium batteries. We have
I'm
A
so
grade,
sorry to
we have
remind our
B grade,
panelists that
and we have
we have a panel on the
refurbished.
same topic tomorrow as well, since it's a 2 day
No,
conference.
Mrs. Verman, but this is very crucial because this information is very crucial for the end user.
Yeah.
When comparing the prices of lithium ion, we hear a lot of complaints about high price and low prices. In
Yeah.
lithium, there are three different type of cells. The A grade, which are the most expensive, B grade, normal, refurbished, and this the lowest, cheapest one, but will last much lower than the others. So whoever wants to buy a lithium battery must verify this information before making up his mind on a go or no go.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And please.
So much, everyone. Thank you, all our esteemed panelists, for your
Thank you.
valuable time. And a very special thanks to our moderator for superbly moderating the session. And and we extend our special thanks to our partner Clenergy for extending their support to organize the event. Once again, I would like to appreciate Mr. Pasha for being the most knowledgeable and humble moderator here that we have. We promise to come back tomorrow with another exciting session, and the floor is now open for networking. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Bye bye. So